we are seeing a quarterback collapse in the National Football League. It's across the board. It's not just Tua getting benched, but quarterback play across the board in the National Football League is collapsing. Let me give you a stat. In 2018, what is that, 8 years ago, there were 19 quarterbacks who had 8 or more starts in the National Football League, and 19 quarterbacks averaged 250 yards or more passing per game. 19 quarterbacks in 2018 averaged more than 250 passing yards per game. These are quarterbacks with 8 or more starts. Let's fast forward to right now, 2025. There are 5 quarterbacks that average more than 250 passing yards per game. Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, and Drake May. In 2018, 19 quarterbacks averaged more than 250 passing yards. What are we watching? What is going on with the National Football League? Has gambling and fantasy football distracted us so much and covered up all the flaws of the National Football League that we're sitting here watching? We're watching quarterback play go directly into the toilet, and we're pretending like we don't see it at all. My contention is, and we'll unpack this today, and I'll have a conversation with Steve Kim and TJ Moe about it. My contention is the hyper-focus on DEI and black quarterback play has diminished merit, has diminished competition, has undermined the pursuit of excellence for the pursuit of quotas. And everybody's play has dropped because of the hyper-focus on DEI. DEI degrades everything in sight, including the National Football League. Let's go back to 2018, because what we're in is in the middle of the George Floyd sports era. In 2018, I believe, there were 3 black quarterbacks that were throwing for more than 250 yards. And I believe there were only 6 black quarterbacks that started 8 or more games. Now we're in this time in 2025 where there are 14 black quarterbacks who have started 8 or more games. And only 2 black quarterbacks are averaging more than 250 yards per game. So we've increased the number of black quarterbacks playing, but we've decreased the number of black quarterbacks playing at a high level. Once you quit pursuing excellence, everybody gets hurt, even the black quarterbacks. DEI isn't elevating the play of black quarterbacks. It's actually diminishing the play of all quarterbacks. Coaches, organizations, they're not thinking about how can we be the best we can possibly be. They're thinking about how can I be a part of virtue signaling and promoting unqualified or underqualified black quarterbacks to a position of prominence. The entire conversation has been hijacked, and where the conversation has went, the coaches, the executives, and everybody else is gone, and they've diminished quarterback play in the National Football League. Offensive play sucks. They've made it easier on the receivers, on the quarterbacks, on everything related to offensive football, but offensive football is actually going the other direction. They are destroying football right before our eyes. And because you get to gamble on it, you don't care. You get to fill out your fantasy deal. You get to hop on DraftKings or whatever. And listen, you guys know I gamble. I'm not hiding from that. But it does not distract me from I turn on these games and the QB play is embarrassing. And the conversation about QB play is embarrassing. We got a conversation going on about Shedeur Sanders that is incredible. He's a 5th-round pick. His ceiling, the best Shedeur Sanders could ever do. If you look at his arm strength, the best he could ever do is be Tua Tagovailoa. But he's Tua with a bad attitude who can't process the game fast enough to be effective at the quarterback position. And our whole little DEI pursuit, guess who's number 10 in Pro Bowl voting? Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur, number 10 in Pro Bowl voting. The guy's played 4 or 5 games. He looked good against a horrific Las Vegas Raiders team. Or, I'm sorry, the Tennessee Titans. Looked terrific. Played the Chicago Bears with a mediocre defense and looked like the underqualified clown that he is. He can't read a defense. He can't process fast enough. And he floats passes because he doesn't have elite arm talent. At best, he could be Tua Tagovailoa. And look, Tua Tagovailoa got a $200 million contract and hoodwinked the Dolphins for a few years. But an elite quarterback, Tua was never that. Doesn't have the arm strength. Doesn't have the leadership ability, and he's twice the leader that Shedeur is. But the entire conversation in the National Football League, or most of it, has been about a mediocre 5th-round quarterback whose dad's a celebrity and he's black and makes black people feel good like they're trolling white people. And so all the conversation is about Shedeur. Matt Stafford, Josh Allen, any of these other quarterbacks that are having elite seasons. Virtually no conversation about them while the whole world obsesses about a mediocre 5th-round draft pick with a horrendous attitude. I didn't start and I did not promote this black quarterback obsession. ESPN, podcasters, people addicted to social media clout, they're the ones that started this season talking about, man, half the quarterbacks in the NFL are going to be black. What an accomplishment. They created the obsession with the black quarterback. Well, Jalen Hurts, he's the 5th black quarterback to win a Super Bowl or whatever number he was. It's like, when do they stop counting? Will there one day be Jamal Bryant won the Super Bowl? He's the 33rd black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. When will they stop counting? When will they quit shoving the race thing down our face? When will we ever pivot back to, hey, man, let's just promote and celebrate excellence, not skin color? They drove this conversation. They began and they defined this season by the black quarterback, by what happens to Shedeur. Will the Browns pamper him and coddle him and give him first-team reps? And how will the league adjust to or celebrate that half the quarterbacks that open the season are black starting quarterbacks? This is their conversation. And now when someone says, hey, let's evaluate the quarterback position, we're in the middle of celebrating the fact that, half the teams in the NFL have black starting quarterbacks. Let's check in and see how they're doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm addressing a conversation that they defined. And just because it's not going the way they thought it would, we're all supposed to ignore it and pretend like they didn't define this conversation. Black starting quarterbacks are 77, 109, and 2 overall this year. That's a 41% win percentage. 77, 109, and 2. I didn't force this conversation. I don't want to have this conversation. They forced it. Now that the results are in, they don't want to talk about it. Well, I want to talk about it because they're undermining all the quarterbacks. They're undermining a league that I grew up enjoying and loving. They're undermining black quarterbacks with this obsession.